Hi, this is Rob Turner, manager name Bobby T _85. So I have now spent £260 on limited cards, and I just want to go through what I've got. So hopefully this video is as clear, not as, more clear than the last one, but let's take a look at my cards. I was just having a little look, and in the last 17 days, I've managed to buy 32 cards. 17 days. It's almost 2 a day, which is a bit ridiculous. Starting with Alan Cervantes. But yeah, let's take a look at what I have purchased. So, like I said, I spent £260. I don't have any unique, so I don't need to press that. So from the other day, I bought Alan Cervantes, Daniel Odovinsky, Martin Burden, Wanderson, Joris Kimbembe, Kevin Diambe, Nicholas De La Cruz, Brian Lozano, and Leonard Moser. So they, with a bit of trading, they all came up to £110. I did buy a couple of players and sell a couple of players, which meant I made around £30-ish. That's made all them players come up to 110. Following this, I've bought Cole Bassett, an MLS player. Under 23s, he's only 19 on his card, might be 20 now. Seems to play a lot, so I think for the price it's pretty good. And also it can go into under 23 teams on my American team if I build up to that. I bought the Eredivisie keeper here, Janis Blaswick, and he's actually the captain, so his score there, 28, is abysmal, but if we take a quick look at him, he did actually get 46 last game. I know that's a team that just got promoted, but them other two poor scores are, teams that finished in top 4 with Feyenoord. Maybe Feyenoord finished 5th, and AZ. So pretty good teams, and I don't think his club were playing for out at the end of the season. Really, might be wrong. Can't remember that far back. And then I bought another MLS centre back who's injured, Jalen Lindsay. He didn't cost much, just £5. And then I got Atlas player, Julia Furch. I know he's a bit old at 32, but it does still score the odd goal. I think when he played for Santos Laguna, he was a 1 in every 2 player. Obviously was injured all last season. He's come back and got a couple of goals this season, but not really been producing high scores. And I think he's just gone on a bit of a dry patch here. He didn't score that game or assist, and obviously there, but in his first 3 games, I think he got on the score sheet twice. So hopefully, that low score there, he missed a penalty in the last minute. So maybe if he'd got that, he'd have put up another 60+ score there, but obviously he missed it. And then my other one was my expensive purchase here is a 19-year-old centre-back. Seems to score really well. It was a bit of an impulse buy. Leo Girimel, something like that. Who knows? But look, good scores. Played it all his last 5. I'm quite happy with that. Rapid Vienna, so might get some European games possibly. I haven't overly looked in if Rapid Vienna, they will definitely be in Europe, but I don't know which tournament. So this means now I have a few players, 2 centre-backs, 2 playing centre-backs, should I say, 2 playing keepers. That Leonard Moser will be playing next 3 games. I don't know if he'll keep his position after that. So, as mentioned in my last video, I might be looking to move him on in a couple of games and maybe build up a bit more cash to get a different keeper. Hopefully, if I can get, double my money on him, and then I can pick up another keeper, maybe an American one, with me having a Challenger Europe one there. And then I've got 4 midfielders. I think I'm a bit. Other than I think I've got 2 strong ones. Looking at it, Alan Cervantes, I'm hoping he will start playing and be a good signing, because he only costs £10, but at his peak he was about £200 and pretty consistent early 50s scorer. So he could be a good one. So I could have 3 good centre midfielders providing he starts playing. Brian Lozano's, as mentioned, has been injured for a long time, so he's one I probably wouldn't put much trust in for, maybe a month or so. If he starts starting every week, I might be willing to play him, but at the moment I'm just training him. Strikers, I've got Julia Furch. I pretty much trust him to put up some decent scores. It's obviously, you get what you pay for. He's a £12 striker, so I'm hoping, that he can put up a few good scores and maybe I can win a couple of cards through him. The other one's just the under 23 one. I don't know much about. I mentioned last week I did pick up his rare as well for, I think it was actually £78. I said around £78, which is still reasonable. So I'm hoping that he isn't a burden and it's a good signing. Who knows? Hard to tell when people just come up. I'll just briefly go through a few of my rares and super rares. If you have any interest in this, if you don't, just log off and like and subscribe if you like it. If not, don't bother. So I'll go through who I've got here. So Lucas Scoofs, he was a really good midfielder last year, but seems to have been pushed back in centre back. I've bought 2 of these. I tend to try and stack the same players. And this guy, Mats Noster, if I'm pronouncing it right, he's only 22. He was wearing the captain's armband 1 week, so obviously the keeper there tends to be captain, but he looks like a vice captain. Seems to lose a lot of duels. I've looked at that as a score, but he's only young, and I suppose playing next to a centre mid might be good for his learning curve. I've got him. I really rate this. They did the Mexican All Stars versus MLS, Liga MX All Stars versus MLS All Stars. He was started in centre back, so he's highly thought of. Hasn't been producing the scores he's capable of. Miesbacher, goalkeeper, AZ, 3rd choice at the moment. Played for the Dutch under 17s, I think, although I can't find any stats on that, but I'm pretty sure he has done. He's a player full of confidence. He seems to be talking that he wants to get in and around the first team this year and get into the first team within 2 years. So potentially, if he gets in and around first team, he might get loaned out. He might get his dreams come true and come into the first team. As mentioned there, another burden. I picked up this Luis Reyes. He plays either left back or left wing for Atlas. I've got loads of Atlas players. Seem to have started the season really well. To get 105 games ago, 60 quid, can't go wrong. I know he's 30, but does for a couple of years, doesn't he? Keeper, this was one of the new ones. I wish I'd picked up the one of one of 100 because it wasn't much difference between the four. I think very similar. Lucas Hoyes did get a reasonable score last game, I think, which is good. Last 2 games, 60 pluses. Great. Emilio Oriente, I've got 2 rares of him. They're worthless, really, at the moment, but that's because of his scores. But he's a starter, plays right back, loses a lot of duels, loses the ball a lot, can get the occasional assist and high score, but not very often. I just picked this up for a 0.03. Not sure what I'm doing with it. I've got 3 Julia Furch's rares, and obviously I've got his limited. Picked that one up for a good price, 105. The other one were 150 odd. There's my second Lucas spoofs. So I've got that Leonard Moser limited. He's coming in for this guy who got sent off. Philip Menzel, paid about 350 for him, which is a bargain for an under-23s keeper. His scores are dreadful. Got sent off. It's got loads of low scores here. But I actually did keep quite a few clean sheets last year. So, hopefully he'll come back in the team and do under-23s a bit good. Jeremy Marquez. I think I've got a few of these as well. Maybe 2. This guy's on loan from Boca. Gonzalo Marone. I'm really bad at pronunciation, as you can tell. Under 23s, he's a bit in and out of the team. Got to see how he progresses. I'm happy just for him to sit there for a bit. Alan Cervantes got his rare, got super rare, got another rare, got his limited. Another rare of Julia Furch. Jose Hernandez, I think Camilo Vargas will be moving on next year. He'll be in the first team next year. Happy to hold. Aldo Rocha, class captain. Give away a penalty last game. Scores don't show how good he is. Mid-50s player. Happy to keep in him. I think this guy plays for Atlanta. Anton Wakes. Don't know much about him. He's English. I think he came from Portsmouth. Might be wrong. Seems to put a good average of around mid-50s in there. So even when they concede 2, he got 60 the other day, which shows was it that, or it might have been that 64? Might be wrong. Remember seeing it and thinking he did quite well considering they let 2 in. No, this Mexican guy, Angel, right, Sepulveda. I just picked him up for around £100. Lucky enough, he doesn't have a new card coming, so his percentage will go up all season. Just a keeper. It's a pretty cheap keeper. This is one of the keepers you can pick up for around £300 to £400. It's worth having because he plays midweek. Georgie Byrne, especially if you're looking for a budget keeper. Good one to have. Does all right. I'll have a little look at his scores. I think this game where he got 35, he let in 2, and he was at fault for one of the goals. So that 35, he actually lost 20 points for being at fault for one of the goals. So he would have pulled in a cheeky 55 there if he hadn't been at fault for it. And I watched it on replay. Someone was in the box and shot pretty hard, and it was probably one which was tricky to catch. And he did fumble it into someone's path, but it still should have done better. But on another day, it wouldn't have gone to someone, and he wouldn't have been at fault for a goal. But here we go. The other 2 ones, you can probably pick him up for like 0.0, under 0.01 if you just want a cheap defender and you're struggling. Emilio Oriente, Can even have one of mine if you want. One of my favourite cards, Diego Valdez, super rare. I've got his rare as well, legend. Another Alan Cervantes. One thing with him is he's probably not going to be playing next game. He's with Chile, and then within 24 hours, Santos Laguna's got a game. So I've got a few players like that. Like I've got 2 Camilo Vargases, which is a bit of a pain to lose your keeper potentially. They play within like 48 hours to Atlas from Colombia playing. So then Martin Nevo, no new card yet, 9%, great. Dario Torres, need to pick up another one of his, under 21. He was going for like £150. I wish I'd bought him. Another Diego Valdez. Don't know much about this guy other than he's Colombian. Scores maybe 1 in every 3. Manatas. It seems to do alright. Don't always get 90 minutes. There's Cervantes, super rare. Koulibaly. What's happening with him? God knows. His last super rare went for about £200. I swapped this with Pavel last year after his flying finish for about £700 worth of cards. Dear. Oh, and this is another guy, Anderson Santamaria, who's away on international. Will he make it back in time? Peru. I haven't checked when they play, but Atlas are playing Saturday. Chances are he's going to be playing Friday, so really, really tricky one. Fernando Madrigal, super rare. Hasn't really broken into the team this year. Americana. Brian Trio, just one that I'm hoping will do well. Another Manotas, another Jeremy Macrez, another Julia Furch. My favourite card, Jesus Anguello, brilliant card. Someone offered me like £1,600 for that and I rejected it. Anderson Santamaria again, Julia Vargas, and here's just another Julia Vargas and another Jesus Anguello rare. They're all my cards. Let me know what you think to my team. Let me know who you'd sell, who you'd buy, because it's always good to get a second opinion. I'm just trying to go at the moment to the Challenger team, so that's why I've bought a few Challenger players, like a centre-back, got 2 centre-mids, tried buying a couple of keepers, got a forward, still needs a bit of investment, but the way I see it is if you're patient, you're going to win a card sooner or later in Global D4 and Global D3, so just not rush, because obviously I need a keeper, I need probably another defender, another midfielder, another striker. Probably will try and buy some super rares sooner or later, but as soon as you win a card, you can sell it and build up your ETH and do it. I'm gonna be honest with you. From the end of July to the end of August, I won about 7 cards, which accumulated to about over £3,000, which is pretty amazing. Sorry about the dog barking in the background. So this team doesn't look great. There's no players other than keepers that I've bought for north of £200. Most around the 50 to 100 mark. A couple of players around the 150, not many. I mean, I can go through this. Less than 100. I managed to pick up less than 100. He was just a few pounds over 100, 105. He was less than 100, less than 100, less than 100. Keeper. Less than 100. Around 100, around 100. Keeper. Less than 100, less than 100, less than 100, less than 100. 150. Less than 100, 100. Less than 100, 100. Keeper. next to no. Obviously, super rares are a bit more, but it was about 100, I think. £60-ish. He was about 200. He was one of the more expensive ones. £100. Super rares, no point looking at them. 50 quid. He was about £200, to be honest. Minotus, less than £100. Julia Furch for around £200 when I bought him back then. And then you're looking at like next to no for the last few. 200 for Vargas, 200 for my other Vargas. My other Jesus Angulo was about £30 for my rare. So I've done really well. Managed to probably do this all off £1,500. Started in February. I've got a holding now that's worth, according to Sorare data, 12.5 grand. So doing really well. Hopefully I can win more cards. Trade up a little bit. Thanks for watching. Let me know any feedback. Thank you.